One of the challenges with being off grid or getting out in the middle of nowhere is the ability to communicate. And at the cabin, I have no cell phone coverage when I'm in the cabin, whether I'm upstairs or down at the bottom, it doesn't matter. Although up at the top of our hill, you can get cell coverage, though it's very spotty and it depends on what service you use. Some services I just can't get, though I can tell that there's a little bit of signal there. And I've often looked at the various cell phone boosters that are out there, but I hadn't bit the bullet and bought one yet because I really wasn't sure which one would be the best to have or which one would really work out there. And then HiBoost came to me and asked me if I'd be interested in trying one of theirs, and I thought, well, heck, why not? In fact, they've got a few different kinds. And so when I was looking at what they had, I noticed that they had one that's more designed for the overland type environment, rigs, trucks, that kind of thing. And I thought, well, driving up to my cabin is a bit of a challenge because you lose coverage all the time. So even though I can't get it at the cabin, I also can't really get it on my way to the cabin. So having a cell phone booster in my truck or in my Jeep or frankly in the camper when we're out camping somewhere in the middle of nowhere would be kind of cool. And we find oftentimes that the only way I can communicate is if I use either my little Zoleo satellite device or if I use Starlink. And for some reason, my phone service doesn't work over Starlink, though I've had friends that theirs did. So I decided, you know, why not? Let's go ahead, get one of these, give it a try, and I'll tell you what I think. And I will be testing it out both here in the shop, where honestly, I can't even send text messages. So that'll be the first place that I test this out. But first, I wanted to open it up, have a look at it, and set it up here in the shop and see if I can get better cell coverage right here, where normally I can't even take phone calls. In fact, I've got to go out of the shop just to be able to make a phone call. So I thought, okay, let's give it a try. So HiBoost sent me this. It is their Travel 3.0 Explorer X. Let's open it up and have a look and see what's inside this thing. An antenna, some mounting options, and it looks like here's the amplifier. Boy, that's actually kind of heavy. I'm impressed with that. It's got a heavy heat sink, which is really nice because that's going to dissipate heat really well. And then on top, it has some lights. One showing Wi-Fi, one that looks like bi-directional communications, and then an alarm. This looks like, let's see, they give you some zip ties. This looks like something to mount something with. Probably two-sided tape. All kinds of mounting options, tape. We've got cable. And then we've got the main antenna. Just a plastic antenna with a cable that goes to that. Now, if you have an overland rig or an off-grid rig that you have an antenna on, you know that having something that can both isolate it and allow it to move is a really good idea. We've got a 12-volt plug. This must be the indoor antenna. Then we've got a pretty heavy mount. Bolt pattern on it. Mount your antenna, so that can be mounted on the roof rack or something like that on your rig. All right, all kinds of good stuff. So the first thing I should do is look at the manual. Now it does have an app, so you're going to have to download an app. You know, I mean, I don't usually read instructions, folks. I tend to just pull them apart, put it all together, and figure out how it works. All right, so it gives you plenty of instructions on how to set this up. I think what we're going to do is we're going to assemble the antenna and see where we can put it to try to get a signal and then work from there, because it could be that I'm going to stick it out a window and then stretch out the antenna on the inside of the shop somewhere and see how that works. So we're going to do that. The first thing I'm going to do is figure out how to assemble this thing. I'm going to just assume that this goes together like this because, you know, who reads the instructions anyway, right? It's a bit tight, but that's all right. And then we screw that on. Now the first thing I notice is that there's like a flat spot here you can put a wrench on, and then you have to turn this by hand. There's no way to grab the antenna with a tool or something to put that on, so we'll have to try to secure that really well. So this guy will go through here and then come out the side somehow. There we go. This must go on here. Now we have that guy, and of course this is movable. It's got a just pops out the side like this. You don't have to actually use a pair of pliers or something on that, so that works good. Okay. Now, to be honest, I really have wanted to try one of these out for some time now. I've looked at them several times. This one, I'll pop the price up right here. This one's actually not too bad price-wise. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to set that outside, set it up out there, run it to the booster, provide the booster with power, and then run the inside one and see how it goes. So let's go outside and give that a try. All right, I've got my cell booster set up. We got 3 lights on. The antenna is outside, and I've got the app installed. Don't mind my mess. I was in here working on some projects here, but I've got it hooked up to the power station, and then I've set my antenna over here. And let me show you outside. So I've just set the antenna on the ground here, just to set it up because I can get coverage out there. We'll go inside. According to this, I've got 5 bars. I never get 5 bars in here, folks. This is just not happening. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to try a test. I'm going to text my guy that I need to get some work done on my Jeep with. Now, the first thing I'll tell you is that when I send a text message from in here, it would just immediately kick it out and say, you've got no coverage, you can't send a text message. And I noticed with this one, it immediately went out. So that's kind of cool. 2 messages sent, no problem at all. Okay. Let's see. Let's try. This is kind of fun, folks. Just trying to try some different things out just to see, you know, does it really work? Is it working the way it should? Let's find out.
Calling the Richland PA Clinic. If you are having a medical or...
Folks, I've never been able to make a phone call out of the shop here, so that's pretty cool. I gotta say, I can send text messages. Let me see if I can check my YouTube page, see if it comes up pretty quickly. Boom. Came right up, no problem. Pulls up right away. Let's try watching a video. Let's see if that works. You gotta understand, folks, this is something I've never been able to do inside my shop. So let's see, who's got a video that we can test here?
It seems like always 1,000 things that have to get done.
That came up right away, folks. That came up, I mean, immediately. That is crazy. So the HiBoost cellular booster, which is made for cars and trucks, so it's the overland version, and I'll put it on my Jeep, but I want to take it up to the cabin and just try it at the cabin as well. So I probably won't install it on my truck right now. More likely it'll go on my Jeep, and so I'll probably do that today and just try it out a little bit more. But right now, I don't get cell coverage in here. It's just not something that I've ever had. Right now, I can take phone calls in here just fine. I can send text messages. That's something I've never been able to do. I can get on the internet. Everything is working. So I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed with the HiBoost and how well it's working. And honestly, setup was, well, I didn't have to do anything. They tell you to download the app, which I did, but it had already connected to a tower, was already giving me signal. Everything was working fine. I didn't have to really do anything. So for those who are into overlanding, camping, or you've got an off-grid cabin that you just don't have good communications at, or maybe none, you do need at least, I think it's 1 bar of cellular signal in order for this to work. And if this video helps you out, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps the channel out. And thank you to all of my members. I appreciate your being here and supporting the channel. It means a lot to me, so thank you very much for that. And meanwhile, folks, I'm going to throw another video right over here for you to check out. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go play with my new HiBoost cellular extender or booster. It seems to work really well. Y'all have a great day. I got stuff to do. Old Jarhead out.